I grew up on hip-hop, you fit me better than my favorite sweater. And I know that love is mean, love hurts. I still remember that day we met in December. And baby, I'll love you till the end of time. I would wait a million years. Promise you'll remember that you're mine. Baby, can you see through the tears? Love you more than those pictures before. Say you'll remember. Say you'll remember now, baby. Ooh, oh.
I'm Natalia Rodriguez, and this is my final project for Humanities on Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey is an American singer-songwriter who was born as Elizabeth Woolridge Grant. Lana lived a problematic life as a teenager with being addicted to alcohol and getting sent to Kent boarding school at just 14. As she grew up, she learned to deal with her addiction and how to be sober. Lana has an unreleased song called Boarding School, which is a satire about the types of girls that she came across in her boarding school. The song talks about people who glorified drugs and eating disorders in her school. When Lana graduated from Kent boarding school, she moved to Long Island with her aunt. This is when she would start learning to play the guitar from her uncle, and her passion for making music would start to grow. Lana started to make her own songs around this time and would perform them in several nightclubs and open mic nights. At this time, her stage name was Lizzie Grant. When she was 19, she moved back to New York so that she could enroll at Fordham University. She started to focus more on her music career and would later make her first EP called Kill Kill with her stage name of Lizzie Grant. The EP had 3 songs, Kill Kill, Yayo, and Grandma. She later changed the stage name to Lana Del Rey, which came from the actress Lana Turner in a car called the Ford Del Rey, and she released her first album called Lana Del Rey, aka Lizzie Grant. This album has 13 tracks, including the songs from her Kill Kill EP. Her music just wasn't selling, so she would end up getting rid of the digital release. Lana loved to make her own collages of videos that she found aesthetic. Her love for the old Hollywood style gave her inspiration for her first music videos. This is when a music video that she posted on YouTube called Video Games became extremely popular. The song spoke about a relationship that Lana was in, and she would do little things to get his attention, but her boyfriend was more focused on playing video games. She would do anything for him, but she also wanted more in life than just seeing him play video games.
Felt inspired to write about, just the same theme that I had been writing about for a while, which was just about this guy I had been seeing and the way our relationship was at the time. It was just a time in my life when I had let go of my own personal career ambitions and just enjoyed being with him at home when he'd come home from work and play video games, and I would write while I watched him. So I think when I wrote that song, I was just reflecting on the sweetness of it, but also the fact that there was something else I was longing for at the same time.
Lana would release her second album in 2012 called Born to Die. This album allowed for her success to grow even more, with it landing on the number 2 spot on the Billboard 200. The most popular single from the album would be Summertime Sadness, which is a story about a couple becoming suicidal. Lana's music style would start to be called dream pop and baroque pop. The Born to Die album would be most of the start of the critics calling Lana Del Rey's music problematic. Her next album, called Ultraviolence, would have much more controversy, especially with the single of the same name as the album. song Ultraviolence speaks about an abusive relationship and shows the victim's point of view after being manipulated so much that she thinks that the abuse is love. Maybe the most controversial lyric is, "He hit me and it felt like a kiss." Many critics have seen this type of lyric to be glorifying abuse, but I understand this lyric as a true portrayal of how the mind of a victim works after being abused for so long. Speaking about unhealthy relationships, dealing with abuse is always tricky, especially talking about how abuse can be thought of as love by the victim because of gaslighting, love bombing, and manipulation. This mindset is something people don't like talking about, but it does happen in many abusive relationships. Her fourth studio album would be called Honeymoon. According to Pitchfork reviews, Lana Del Rey's album Honeymoon was much darker than Ultraviolence, and the love that she sings about sounds much more like mourning. This album used more of a jazz and blues type of sound. You can see this inspiration in her song Terrence Loves You.
Never get cold. I lost myself when I lost you. I've still got chance, darling, when I feel too blue. Still I lost myself and I lost you too.
I think that the darkest lyric from this song is, "I lost myself when I lost you, and I still get trashed, darling, when I hear your tunes." This song seems to be about someone who is so addicted to their relationship that when they broke up, they lost all meaning they felt before. Lana's fifth album was called Lust for Life. This album was different from her previous ones because it had much more of an upbeat sound. The album cover for Lust for Life is the first that shows Lana smiling. The song with the same name of the album shows how much Lana has grown throughout the years, with the lyrics, "They say only the good die young, that just ain't right." This is different from how she used to say that she wishes she was already dead and wanted to live a short life. Lana's most recent album is Norman effing Rockwell. The album refers to the painter Norman Rockwell and is said to be her best album by many critics. This album is inspired a lot more by classic and soft rock. My favorite song from this album has to be Happiness is a Butterfly because it sounds so different than songs on Lana's previous albums. This particular song in the album still has some dark lyrics like, "If he's a serial killer, then what's the worst that can happen to a girl who's already hurt?" This seems to be very personal to Lana because she sung so much about how she was hurt by many men. So this lyric shows that she's just used to it and that it doesn't hurt her because that's what she expects. Lana Del Rey music has grown along with her and has allowed so many people to relate with her struggles. I have loved listening to her music since I was younger, and album after album, my love for her music grew. She's a truly great part of today's humanities and shown how things from back then can still give inspiration for artwork now.